Hey folks, Mrmathblog here. This is applying operations with rational numbers. This is the word problem section, so problem solving. So our question here is, how can we solve problems involving multiplication and division of fractions and decimals? So here's an example. Valerie earns $54 for working at the teen center for 2 days. She worked 2.5 hours yesterday and 4.25 hours today. If Valerie was paid the same amount for every hour she worked, how much did she earn per hour? So there should be a much right there. How much did she earn per hour? Sorry about that. Anyway, so she earned $54 and she worked that many hours and that many hours. Okay, so let's go ahead and get a plan going together here. So identify the important information. So she made $54 at the teen center and she worked 2.5 hours yesterday and 4.25 hours today. So we're asked to find how much she earned per hour. So let's go ahead and build a plan. So the total amount she earned is $54, and we're going to divide that by the total hours she worked. So we're going to add those two hours together. So it's going to be the $54 divided by how many hours she worked. So we're going to solve this. So let's just slide that up so we have more room right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and solve. We're going to follow the order of operations, do the parentheses first. So 2.5 plus 4.25 is 6.75, and then we're going to go ahead and divide. All right, now I didn't do long division here, so I do know that 6 times 9 equals 54, so since we're multiplying by 6.75 instead of 6, let's try 6.75 times 8 and see where that gets us right there. And if it gets us exactly 54, here it does right here, then that tells us that she got $8 an hour right there, okay? So if it didn't work, then we'd do long division. 6.75 goes into 54, then we'd move this decimal over 2 places and then move the decimal here over 2 places, so we get 5,400. And we do it that way, but I'm skipping that one right there. I'm multiplying 6.75 times 8, and that gave us exactly 54. And if it didn't, we'll do long division. And I did that in the next one. You'll see, you guys. So anyways, we get $8 right there. So Valerie earns $8 an hour at the teen center, okay? So here we go. Glenn buys 6.2 pounds of hamburger and 5.4 pounds of turkey. If the hamburger and the turkey cost the same amount per pound and Glenn paid $58 for all the meat, what is the cost per pound? Okay, so let's first add the total amount of meat. Okay, so 6.2 pounds and 5.4 pounds gives us 11.6 pounds. Now he paid $58 for this 11.6 pounds, so we're going to go ahead and divide $58 divided by 11.6. So here I did long division right here, okay? So when we multiply, move this decimal over one place. So the decimal's right here. We're going to move it over one place and then make it with a 0 right there, okay? So it gives us 116 goes into 580. Now, I know 116 times, or I know 100 times 5 is 500 right there. So let's see what 116 times 5 is, okay? So here I did it down here. 116, 5 times 6 is 30. There's a 0 for the 30. Carry the 3. 5 times 1 is 5, plus this 3 right there is 8, and then finally we get 5 times 1, so we get 580 right there. So let's answer the question right there. So it's asking us, what is the cost per meat? So this is in dollars right here, so the meat is $5 a pound right there. All right, so here's another one here. So each part of a multi-part question on a test is worth the same number of points. The whole question is worth 37.5 points, okay? So Jack got half of the parts of the questions correct, okay? So all of them are the same amount right there. So if he got half of 37.5, we're going to find out what is half of 37.5. So how many points did Jack receive on that? So he got half of the 37.5. So remember, of means multiply in math. So a half of 37.5 is the same as a half times 37.5. So there's a couple ways we can do this, you guys. Here's the first way here, is we can convert the 37.5, the decimal right here, into a fraction. Okay, 37.5 is the same as 37 and a half. And then remember how to change this mixed number into an improper fraction, or a fraction greater than 1. 2 times 37 is 74, plus 1 is 75, so it equals 75 halves. So then we just find 1/2 of 75 halves. And then when we multiply fractions, top times top is 75, bottom times bottom is 4, so 75 fourths. And then we can go ahead and convert that back to a mixed number right here. So 4 goes into 7 one time, all right, and then we subtract and we slide the 5 down, all right, and then 4 goes into 35 8 times, we get 32, and subtract, we get 3 left over. So let's write this as a mixed number. So we start at the top and go clockwise, so it's 18 and 3/4, okay? So to write it as a fraction, it's 18 and 3/4, so Jack received 18 and 3/4 of a point right there, okay? All right, so here's another way right here. We can convert the fraction 1/2 into a decimal, 0.5, and then multiply that. So just go ahead and multiply those decimals right there, okay? So when we multiply, we get 5 times 5 is 25. There's a 5, carry the 2. 5 times 7 is 35, plus this 2 right here is 37, so carry the 3, and then 5 times 15, or 5 times 3 is 15, plus 3 is 18. 1 decimal, 2 decimals, so that means move the decimal over 2 places right there. Okay, so Jack received 18.75 points, and that's the same as 18 and 3/4 points. 3/4 is the same as 0.75 right there. All right, here's another one here, you guys. So the bill for a pizza was $14.50. Jack paid $3.50 of the bill. So show 2 ways to find how much, did I say Jack? Chuck paid for the bill, okay? So it's the same thing. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to change 14.5 to 14.5 right there, and then we'll change 14.5 to an improper fraction, or a fraction greater than 1. So 2 times 14 is 28, so plus 1 is 29, okay, and then multiply, so top times top, so 3 times 29 is 87, I did that down here, okay, 3 times 9 is 27, there's a 7, carry the 2, 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8, so we get 87 over 5 times 2 is 10, and then we divide that and make it a mixed number, so we get 10 and 7/10 of a dollar. That's how much Jack paid. Okay, so how much is that money-wise right there? Well, here's another way. We can change 3/5 to 0.6, and here I did that right here. Divide the bottom into the top, add a decimal on top right there, and then 5 goes into 30. 6 times, but it's after the decimal, so it's 0.6 right there. All right, so then we find 0.6 of 14.5, which just means 0.6 times 14.5. Okay, here I haven't moved the decimal over yet, so here I multiplied 14.5 times 0.6. Haven't moved the decimal over, so I'll move it over 2 places, so we get 8.70. So Chuck, I keep staying with Jack, but Chuck paid $8.70 on that. All right, you guys, if you ever have any questions or comments, you can give me an email or right there. Take care, you guys.